this is going to be, I hope, a quick video. I just wanted to bring this up because I suppose that it's a topic that is dear to any kind of reader, and that is annotations. And how do you or I annotate? On my videos I have already been talking about that I do annotate my books. I'm just going to mention, if you are curious, it's nothing revolutionary, but I think it's a pertinent topic to talk about. And I have just here 3 books. 2 I have already read, and the other one is one that I'm currently reading. But well, it's just going to be examples. So we have here 2 non-fictions and 1 fiction. I'm just going to show you roughly the way that I today do my annotations. I'm going to talk about the materials that I use and how I do it. So let's go. So we are going to start with non-fiction, at least this one. I have talked about this book many times, so there you go. As you can see, I use sticky tabs. So as you can see, this is an example. We have here a sticky note. Sometimes the colors, it's random. Well, as you can see, this has many yellow sticky tabs and just 1 pink and 1 blue. So I try to make a kind of a color code, but sometimes that is not really possible because my sticky tabs ran out, so I have to just annotate with the color that I have left. But then, okay, so as you can see, this has notes, this particular book, and I also annotate notes. And as you can see, I can underline simply, or I can put like a reference to the paragraph. In this case is a note. So when I come to this sticky tab, I can see that this was important to me at the time I was reading. And something that I do, for instance, of course, this is, I open the book and I see this underline and this highlight, but I don't put, if for instance I will have underline in this page, perhaps I wouldn't put a sticky tab because I have put the page right before. I try to not use that often, but well, okay. I wanted to showcase an example that I circulate some terms, in this case radium girls. So I know that there is a book about these people that were then called radium girls, because this is about the history of radium, if you didn't know. So I put here a sticky tab, and in this case, as you can see, in the next page I put also a sticky tab, but that was because that this information was really explosive for me. I'm going to say it like this. And as you can see, I put here an exclamation mark and what. So sometimes I make comments about what I'm reading, and as you can see, I underline with undulation and not just linear line. And you can see the contrast from this page to this page. So I underline in undulation till here, and then I put linear lines, and sometimes, as you can see, I doubled it. So here I have 2 lines for the same phrase or the same sentence. And sometimes, to not underline again, I put like a key or something to highlight that paragraph. So there you go. So this is one example. In terms of fiction, I'm going to show you Recebo by Benjamin Disraeli. As you can see, I annotated a lot as well. And sometimes I put also sticky tabs regarding chapters, and for my usual type of sticky tabbing, I put like quotes or passages that I found curious or interesting in the lateral, in the cut of the book, and if I wanting to go to a chapter right away, I put on top. So there's kind of a difference. Something that I did in this book was to put a post-it for something that was being talked about. It was, in this case, was a person. I'm sorry, this is in Portuguese, but you get the point. I also have under here, but it's just information that I researched on the internet about this said person that was mentioned in this moment in the book. I don't do this very often. When I study, like for school or for whatever, I do this a lot. But something funny is that in books that I'm reading for fun or for knowledge, but literature as a hobby, I don't usually do that, but for this one I did, and I'm figuring out that I should do this more often. When I research something and I don't have so much space in the margins, putting a post-it and then write on the post-it, right? And having it on the book, it's really handy. So there you go. As you can see here, it's in Portuguese. I'm sorry, the book is in English, but I put my notes in Portuguese. I don't know why. Maybe because it was more easy for me. But I put some notes, like a summary of what was being talked about. And as you can see, I didn't underline everything in this paragraph or these paragraphs, but I did put a line in the lateral, and then I resumed what was talked about in here. And here I have an example. In this case, the chapter, when I think the chapter is interesting, so I come back, I read the chapter, and then I come back and sticky note, I post it with a sticky tab, the chapter, and here I have a summary of what the chapter is about. And here we have more examples of me doing underlining in the linear line and underlining in undulation. I'm going to, as you can see. So for me, underlining in the linear line or with a linear line, it's more like I found interesting or I found beautiful or whatever, something pop up to me. But when I undulate my underlining, it's to more important information or more relevant or just to give a difference between the linear and not to get boring or to got my attention when I come back to the book. So, it aims to different objectives. For instance, when I'm reading a book in English, that is this case right here, sometimes I don't understand some word, so I have here the meaning, the meaning of the word, in this case in Portuguese. I could have put synonyms like in English or something, maybe that would be more clever, but at the time that I was reading, I put them in Portuguese, so, there you go. But I do this all the time because, this book in particular was written in the 1800s, so you know, some terms are a bit more, I don't want to call it archaic, but in some ways are not so common or so contemporary. And even if it was, of course there are words that I don't know, right? So I put the meanings in the book itself. So there you go. And as you can see, the examples are similar sometimes. Yeah, I don't think there's much to talk about in this one. So there you go, fiction. And for one that I'm currently reading, this is non-fiction as well. I'm just going to show you this example right here that is on top. So I didn't underline the whole paragraph, but I put a lateral highlight in pencil, of course. I'm going to talk about that later. And I put exclamation point. So this is something that for me, was a thinking point, and I thought it was interesting. Sometimes I also do this, as you can see, so I don't lose my my train of thought. I underline, or I put highlight in the lateral of the paragraph, and I put an arrow so I can know that it continues the thought in the next page. And here, for instance, I do the same thing, but here it is in the same page, so it's more easy to see the thought. But I underline the first part, and then I put an arrow for me to know that, of course, this is logical, but you know, this kind of reinforces the idea that the things are related. So there you go. One more example. So as you could see, I don't do anything that is so different from any other reader, but I thought it was fun to share it with you because I want to know how you annotate. That is something that I found so interesting to know, because it perhaps brings ideas to improve my takeaway from certain book. If I'm studying for an exam, or for just knowledge, or just for fun, that I want to take note of something or remember something, you know. And something that I already talked about is that I have a commonplace book, but I have to say that in these last few months I have been neglecting my commonplace book because, of course, I don't have been reading so much, as you know, but I'm trying to come back to it and annotate my quotes, annotate my thoughts about the readings that I'm doing. So my commonplace book is right here. Isn't this beautiful? I think it is, and I wanted it to be, so that's why and it wasn't that expensive, but of course, as you can see, it isn't that big, but for the use it has been having, well, I'm going to take a long time to fill this one up, but I have it right here with me, and I have some quotes already in it. Sorry. But yeah, and something that you could see as well, I like that my sticky tabs have color in the exterior, but are transparent where it sticks on the page, because I want to come back to it and be able to read what is underneath, right? But recently I bought a pack because I was, looking for a stack of sticky tabs, because now I use them a lot, as you can see. that would last me for a while, and they are all colored, but they are more transparent, so I'm able still to see what is written underneath, so that's good. And as you can see also, or as you could see also, I just underline with pencil. So why? Because a few years ago I wouldn't even touch my books. I wanted them to be pristine. Then I entered in the second-hand world, and my fear of damaging the books diminished. And then because of the influence of booktubers that I watch, and they did annotations and they did the sticky tabbing and so on and so forth, I was kind of like, why don't I try it myself? And so I did. And then, well, it has to be a specific book, or like if it is just for the fun of reading and is a more light book, in my perspective, I don't really annotate or do anything to the book. But if for some things I found interesting, or are some kind of reflections being put in by my brain because of the reading that I'm doing, then I annotate and sticky tab and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, do you have a difference between the way you underline, starting from the point of the examples that I showed you, like underlining in a linear line, or doing an undulation, or the circulation around the words? Do you do that? Do you have other type of annotation? Like, do you write a lot in your books? And if you do, what do you write? Or what type of things you do? Because I'm starting to doing that. Underlying, I do for a while now, but and sticky tabbing, but writing the books like a reflection or a summary, or that is something that I want to improve on. I want to talk to my books. I want to have a conversation between what I'm reading and my thoughts about it. And I'm trying to improve on that. So, but I talked to you about this, the post-its and so on, so that if the book doesn't have the space, I bring the space to the book. So yeah, let me know what you do, how you do it, what the materials you use. Do you use highlights? Because maybe 2 years ago I bought a pack of highlighters, but then I regret the purchase because it stained, or so it passed through the page, so I could see the underline when I turned the page. So I don't know why I thought it wouldn't happen that, but well, if you use kind of highlights or something, let me know the brand that will be really useful and the colors you usually use. If it's more what do you prefer, pencil, highlights? What is your thing in annotating books? So let me know. And also let me know if you use a kind of annotating book, commonplace book, whatever you call it. Let me know as well. And share your thoughts with me. And I will see you on the next one. Bye!